2002 C5 Z06 header installation. So even though I'm working on the passenger side, we have to do some work on the driver's side to get to it. Looking at the repair manual, this is the driver's side head, and coming around with the air injection line, we have to find that check valve and decouple that hose, and then also loosen up the nut but not remove it for this bracket. Let me drag that over. So there's a lot going on back here. I'll show you guys. And there's a lot more because of the supercharger. So this is going to have to come up off the booster. I'll have to disconnect this sensor, which is for my boost, this vacuum line that runs to the discharge up by the Procharger itself. Cut this zip tie. Hopefully I can fold this back out of the way at that point. And then that blue connector deep in there, that is right in front of the other end of this line running the brake booster. And then behind that is that check valve. So I'll see if I can get to it. And then to get to the bolt is going to be a blind operation. So I'll start chipping away at these things and see where we go. All right, I'm going to start with pulling this line off the booster. Disconnect this sensor. Take a second for that. Hold on. All right, got this out. And then I'm cutting this zip tie here. See if I can pull this up and out of the way. There we go. I still do not have a lot of access back there, but I'll give a few things a try. So I got two of these off. This one here, and it's hard to see this one down here. And basically what I did was I took the end of a screwdriver and I pushed on one side while holding the other side together, basically pushing them across each other. It's not the way I like to do it. I like to pull the tab back just a little bit and then pull out, and then it'll open outward. But I don't really have room for this. So still got to try to get one of these two in the back here. So I'm starting to work this out. What I'm doing is I have my left hand here and my right hand's coming through the top right here. And I'm holding part of this with my fingers and pushing forward. So I've got it about a third of the way out. Difficult to see. It is extremely difficult to see, but straight down there is where the clamp used to be, and now I've loosened it and pushed it up to the back. So what I'm going to do is try to get this entire metal line out now that the three ends of it are loose. And you know, I may loosen this up off the cylinder head here at this flange, because maybe I can take that first part off there. So I am going to try to start by loosening up the two bolts on this flange for the air injection pipe. I'm not going to show the video, but it's a 10 millimeter, and I'm using an extension. Sorry, not an extension. Deep weld, just so I'm, a few inches away from it, so I have room to swing the wrench. These came out really easily. Again, I've been spraying them for about 4 days. I'm just going to use my thumb wheel to get them out. So those two came out very easily. And then here, the gasket has stayed on the back side here. There we go. So I'll worry about that a little bit later. Right now I want to separate the rest of this line. All right, 22 years of aging and thermal cycles, finally got that off. So I'll have to scrape the rest of the gasket off of this flange. Be really easy. Use some sandpaper probably. And I did just wet my finger with some soapy water, and that helped pry this off. It was more of a rotating and then pulling on opposite side motion. So now what I have to do is separate it in the back here and right here. I got this hose off. What I had to do was come in with a tool, kind of pull the very top part up just a little bit, get some soapy water in there, and then try to rotate it with my left hand down here, holding this steady with my right hand on top. So rotating and pulling outboard of the vehicle, and that's off. So now, following it up, this is the last connection I need to separate. So here's the technique I've been using. This is a pick with like a 30-degree bend on it, and I'm very carefully inserting it under there, getting soapy water in there, and then I'm able to loosen the hose up after, some manipulation. Here's the tool, and it's 35-degree bend. I didn't realize it's labeled on the back side there. One other thing to note, is this clip here. Make sure you've rotated it so that these guys aren't cutting your arms. They get scratched up a bit. Got it out. What I do is hold the hose and rotate it downward. Here's the end that was connected there. There's the overall piece. So for this part where we're supposed to remove that bolt, that is attached basically to the check valve way back here. So my fingers are on the valve, but there's no way I'm getting a tool or anything in here. So I'm gonna have to just remove the other side and see what we can do from there. Maybe I can articulate this enough that it's not a problem. Back out here on the passenger side, where the air injection comes into the manifold. Just taking these bolts out. Again, I'm using the 10mm. I'm just gonna break them free so I can grab them with my thumb wheel. So those two bolts came out pretty easily. Looks like I can articulate this a little bit. Maybe not enough to get it out of the way though. We'll have to see how it goes. Another thing to note is the gasket stuck to the manifold side, and I don't really care because nothing's going to happen with that. For now, I'm going to just wiggle this. Let's see where I can get it. Alright, cannot bend it too much. So I don't think there's anything left with the air system. I'm going to stop this video and then I'll start the next one.